Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for the 56th episode of the Pod Wants podcast. I am your host, Char J, joined by my co-hosts, Luke.
How's it going, everybody?
And Hereth Productions.
What's up, everyone? Did you expect me to say welcome back? Because joke's on you.
Haha, fuckers.
Well, according to your name, you're just Hereth Production. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about Season 6, Episodes 11, 12, and 13 of the Clone Wars. This is the last arc of Season 6. Next week, we'll be diving into Season 7. We're going to be talking about Yoda. This is the Yoda Arc. He's going to be diving into what is the science behind life after death and the cosmic force, the living force, and everything that combines this arc with which leads into the original trilogy with Obi-Wan being a ghost and the backstory about being a force ghost, essentially. So,
yep.
Luke, Hereth, are we ready to bring in our guests for today's show?
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
You know,
now
Luke,
I'm ready. Now I'm ready to bring in the
that. You're
guest.
like, yeah, we will, but first. Then we,
But first,
but you know, whatever. Okay, so our first guest today, we have 3 guests. One is currently not here. He will be here soon. But we have 2 so far, and they are all returners of the Pod Wants podcast. Our first guest.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Xcore has been on an episode of the Clone Wars.
yes,
no,
he was on for Mortis.
no, he hasn't. No, he has not.
I thought he was on for Mortis.
No, because remember he had to back out.
Oh, but he was on for the Disney Plus episode.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
How about we bring
It
him in
counts
and
as
he
a
will tell
Padawan.
us if he
That's
was
not.
in here
That's
or
not. That's not. That's not.
Well,
no.
either way, I didn't say he was a returner of the Clone Wars. I said he was a returner of the Pod Wants podcast, Luke. So
Yeah,
you kind of
Luke.
jumped the gun there. But anyway, let's bring in our returning guest of our show, Xcoregamerskillz.
I try to get this right, Xcore, and
What's going
see what
on?
I get.
Yeah, you know, you can't win with this knucklehead.
No, I can't. At
Let's
least 2 of us know how to boil water here.
3 of
Yeah.
us.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
yeah,
We
I
don't
suppose
need
most
to-
of
we
us-
don't need to start this. Okay, so I'm pretty sure Xcore, you made your debut on our show with the Disney Community episode, right?
Correct.
Hence
I was
why,
hanging out with you
we
guys
are
on
referencing the
Yeah,
joke.
that event.
Yeah.
Yes.
Infamous joke.
that.
Well, hello.
Hello, how you guys doing?
We're already starting off with the jokes, but where can the good people find you on social media, Xcore?
You can find me at Xcoregamerskillz literally everywhere. You can also find me when we come back, Conspiracy Cantina. I've got some, I never know where I'm going to be, so I can't schedule a podcast around my current work schedule, but things are supposed to settle down. Cross your fingers for things to go smoothly in my work life. But yeah, I'm currently casting from a freaking hotel room right now. So
Hey, the dedication.
I was like, yeah, I can't miss twice. Yeah, no, I had to back out of Mortis. I was coming back from a work trip, and my boss scheduled me on a night shift when I don't work night shifts, and I was like, bro, are you fucking kidding me?
No, yeah.
I texted Luke like the day before. I'm like, dude, I didn't even fucking read the schedule right, and my boss screwed me over, and he's like, nah, it is what it is.
No worries. We'll catch you in 6 months. Hey.
Yeah, when I got some free time, I'll post a video. It's fine. It's
No,
cool.
yeah.
We'll see you
Absolutely.
in probably season 4 of Rebels. When you're available.
Yeah. I always like having you on. So
It's great to be here.
Welcome
You
to
guys are always, a good time. You guys always have great guests on. So I can't thank this community enough. I mean, even when I'm not actively a part of it, you guys are always, welcoming, inviting, always willing to, hang out, listen to my dumb ass. So it's
And
good to
hey,
be
you
here.
were one of our many great guests, so thank you for coming on and talking Yoda today. So
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is one of my 2 favorite arcs from this show, so I'm glad to be here.
there you go.
awesome. And our second guest today is also a returner of the Pod Wants podcast. He has been on quite a few arcs. He's been on, I believe, one
Cat
of
and
our
Mouse,
yes, he was on Cat and Mouse. And he was on a couple of episodes that
Moncala.
I can't name on the top of my head, but he has been a very big supporter and guest on our show. So let's bring in Cody at Chattentime.
Cody, can you
Hey.
tell us which ones that you've been on?
So it was those 2, and I actually want to address Hereth. I saw you make a face when they said Moncala. Do we need to have a talk right now? Because shirtless Kit Fisto will enter the chat.
I'm just saying, look at the last 2 highlights, and you'll understand about the Mon Cala.
Okay, because I
It's
live
all
for
over.
that.
It's all over the Pod One socials.
Okay, I'm gonna visit that, and then we'll follow up. I think those are the only 2. I think the last one, I think it was maybe D Squad though. To answer you,
Yes.
Luke, I had to bail on for a for
family
something.
emergency.
So family
Yeah.
emergency. But I'm here. We're ready to talk. Yoda.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah, no.
Alanis' favorite character,
Yeah.
Yoda.
Yeah.
But Cody, where can the good people follow you on the social media?
So at Chattentime on TikTok and Instagram, and in 8 days, our wonderful Twitch comeback after like a 3-month hiatus at Chattentime as well. So that is where the good people can find me.
Awesome. And let's take a look at the chat real quick. We're gonna say hi to Kenny, Darthman86. Obviously Xcore's in here. Kirk S. Thanks for the fires. Appreciate it. It's much appreciated. Pat, St. Pat. Can't wait to talk to him about some Andor stuff coming down the pipeline.
And we also have Joe.
Then Skywalker, how we doing? How are you? We're doing great. Alanis, our 4th member. That it's like our manager, I would say.
Our ghostwriter, essentially.
Yeah. Ghostwriter, manager. And then _B Dazzler. It's that time.
Pull
We're
up
gonna
the
bring it
banner.
up, pulling it up. All right, Faraway Factory. Go check out Brooke Dazzler's awesome shop. It's Faraway Factory. They sell everything from shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, anything that you can think of, except for maybe socks and pants. Maybe. So I guess those are 2 big things that you're missing. But she sells anything from Star Wars, Marvel, DC, you name it, it's on there. farfarawayfactory.com. You can find them on social media at farfarawayfactory. You can follow Brooke at _B Dazzler on almost everything, I believe. And they are also on Etsy, but go to the website. That's where she makes most of her money. Please go buy some of her cool shit. Now,
As Chase from another multiverse would say, we need to support Mr. Dazzler.
yes.
Yeah, where's the
Yes.
Mr. Dazzler merch?
Yeah, where is the Mr. Dazzler merch?
Make a
Brooke?
shirt of
That's-
him. I would buy
yeah.
that. I
Yeah,
would
so
buy
would
the hell
I.
out of that.
So would I. I think he needs to be like up front. Oh, I think there's something in the works though with Mr. Dazzler that I will not be talking about anywhere up to this moment. Anyway, Char, you go ahead and ask the intro question.
Okay, so to kick off the episode, let's just break the ice a little bit. So what we're going to do is ask you, if you were to join the Jedi Order, what type of Jedi would you be? We'll start with Xcore.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I'd definitely be the Qui-Gon type of Jedi. You know, doing my own thing.
The
You know,
Maverick.
maybe take an apprentice or 2, but you know, when the council tells you got to do something, you're like, nah, that's wrong. I'm just gonna do it this way. You're like, yeah, let me tell you all the ways that you're wrong, and then
The idealists.
We're gonna do it this way. But
So
yeah, no.
kind of like Qui-Gon in a way.
Yeah, mostly like Qui-Gon, just like, yeah, I'm gonna follow the Force on this one, my dudes. Like y'all can follow the code, but
Okay, that's pretty on brand for you though.
yeah,
That's very on brand for you. Cody?
Yeah, I would. I love KOTOR, and so I think I'd be like a Jedi Consular. Now, is green my favorite color? Yes. So naturally, I go towards the class that has the lightsaber color green as their class. However, I really like the Jedi Consulars are kind of like, yeah, you know, why we gotta fight each other when we could just talk about it and solve our problems and not, you know, be dicks to each other. And you know, it all seemed to work out in the game, and you know, I won. So I was a consular. But yeah, I don't know. I always gravitated towards just being that mediator between 2 groups of conflict. It's like, instead of throwing our lightsabers at each other, let's come together. Let's dish it out, talk about it.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, let us know what kind of Jedi or what kind of or what class of Jedi you would be. Kenny says cleaning crew. Yes, that's a good way to start.
The Jedi janitorial team.
Yeah. Then, if we're including High Republic roles, way seekers, because fuck politics in the council. I would agree with that. Then, way seekers are really, really interesting, especially in the High Republic. Hereth, what do you think?
We love Orla Jareni.
Joe literally stole the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna say I would hope to be like an Orla Jareni type and say F the council, F the order. I'm gonna go off my own and discover myself with the Force. Way seeker.
Yeah. Jar?
I'd probably be a Jedi Temple Guard. I don't know. Something about him just makes me super interested into being one if I were in the Star Wars universe.
That's on brand, you know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, just
nobody-
me and my Powin over here. Not like he's gonna turn evil or
nobody
anything,
felt
but
like he was Padawan, so he became a Temple Guard.
yeah.
As Xcore would say, as long as you're avoiding the kitchen, everything should be fine.
Yes.
Um.
I was gonna let that one slide, but thank you.
What if I said chef? Leave me alone.
Honestly, I'd probably just be a regular Jedi. Maybe like I'm not an academic, so like I couldn't ever do that. But like maybe just like a regular Jedi who does regular things. You know, I don't do anything extraordinary.
You could be like the Yarrow Poof of like the Robot Chicken Star Wars skit. Just kind of like existing, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Yes. I did not know that Mon Calamari was a people.
Or
Oh Jesus!
or
Really, really, you're gonna pull out a? You're gonna pull-
ironic. Alanis.
Yeah.
I mean, she is a grandmaster in the class, so I guess we can
That's-
kind of give it
that's
to her
She
true.
could
by.
be the Grand Master, but her arch nemesis is Yoda, so I don't understand that. As she calls the geriatric gnome.
Oh
But,
man. Yeah, she does. She does not like Yoda very much. So, but ironically, she did say when we were writing these notes, she did say that this was one of her favorite arcs of the Clone Wars.
Which, hey,
Mostly because
that's baby steps.
it's not because of Yoda, it's because of Qui-Gon.
It's true.
Mm.
And also, it's super cool with this episode being the arc where Qui-Gon's Force Ghost is super important to the story because of what recently happened in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
With, spoiler alert, it's been out for about 2 months now, or a month. Qui-Gon's Force Ghost appears. And
It's a
it
lot
was
longer than that, doesn't it?
almost 2 months, I guess.
Oh
But-
my god.
Yeah, Qui-Gon's Force Ghost appears, and he appears in person, but we learn in this story that he is not in physical form yet. So we are going to learn and talk about why he can't appear and Yoda's guidance through the cosmic force and the living force.
Yep, absolutely. Char, do you want to take the first episode?
You know what? I will take the first episode. All right. So let's start with the plot summary of the first episode. So, Season 6, Episode 11, Voices. And guess what, folks? Godfrey. All right.
Headphone warning, obviously.
All right. Yeah. Headphone warning. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Jedi mystery! A lightsaber was found on the moon of Obadiah, belonging to Sifo Dyas, the Jedi responsible for the creation of the clone army. The Jedi have learned that before the start of the war, Count Dooku murdered Sifo Dyas and skillfully manipulated the Republic into the galactic conflict, intending for the Jedi to fight with the clones at their side. Now, as the Jedi Council meets to discuss the purpose of this deception, Master Yoda meditates deep into the Force in search for answers.
Well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what? They get better every time. You
Yeah.
know?
I came with energy today.
Yeah, you
Okay.
did. You came with some heat. You were packing some heat. there, my
I
friend.
pack heat every day. All right. So,
Oh Jesus.
okay. So
Good
before we
God.
begin, Hereth, everyone in the chat, go ahead and rank that plot summary, and we will get diving into this first episode of this arc. So, the first episode begins with, obviously, it's stated in the plot summary. Yoda has a meditation, and
Wait, I
he's
thought
in.
you were gonna let everybody.
Well, I'll do it as it's going on.
Well, we didn't get to rank the first one.
Well, go ahead and rank it. I was gonna do it as like the chat go as like I'm covering the first one.
Oh, I just see you want to jump past my
Oh.
criticism, Char. I see how this works.
Okay, go ahead. Make the ranking real quick.
Okay,
You guys
go.
got 30 seconds, then I'm diving in.
It was average. 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Roasted.
That's more than 5 out of 10. So
Okay, Xcore.
Out of 5, I give it like a 4.
Okay,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Cody.
10,000. Easily.
That
was
Hear
beautiful.
that?
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Luke, what's your ranking?
5. I'll give it 5.
5 out of 5. Okay, excellent. Okay. So, as we dive into this episode, so the first episode, as stated in the plot summary, Yoda is meditating, it looks like in his own personal quarters, trying to find answers to whatever he's looking for, and then he hears the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn, and he doesn't believe it, and he's like, "Dead you are." Doesn't believe it, and then Qui-Gon blows out the candles, and then he gets lifted, and Yoda, like the first part of this episode, he isn't himself, and you can tell this by all the other Jedi in the Council, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan. They all notice that there's something wrong with Yoda, and that he's kind of hiding something, and Yoda isn't sure if this is actually a real voice. So there's a moment where all of the Jedi come together and help Yoda meditate to find this voice that is in his head, and they're there all day and night. Like you can see the elapsed time of the sunrise and sunset of Coruscant, and that they don't find a voice that he heard. So he goes through this medical chamber, like this very back to tank-esque thing to help him get into a deep meditative state. And Yoda does reach out to Qui-Gon again, and Qui-Gon tells him to go to Dagobah, and that's where he will start his training to become whatever Qui-Gon is doing right now when the time comes. And he is under watch in the nursing area, and he calls for Anakin. And I love how he goes to Anakin about it, because Anakin is very spontaneous, and he is the one that'll get blamed for Yoda escaping the temple. And yeah, I just love how Yoda, in that moment when he was talking to Anakin, he looked like he was about maybe 50-year-old Anakin. Not 50-year-old Anakin, 50-year-old Yoda, like a very young, not looking like a Grogu, but he was young, he was very energetic. He was like, "Cause some trouble, I must." But yeah, before I dive into what he does next, I just want to ask you, why do you think Qui-Gon makes a point to tell Yoda to trust no one and to come alone to Dagobah?
Don't all jump out at once.
I think like, oh, go ahead, Core. No, after you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was rewatching this, like, obviously before the podcast, just to kind of refresh, and I was like thinking, because I think like Qui-Gon, it's a test. I mean, obviously I don't want to give spoilers for the rest of the arc yet, but like he's telling him not to trust anyone because like this isn't intended for anyone else. Like this path he's leading him onto is for him. I will say, side note, I really like how in that split second Anakin's like hears Qui-Gon. So before he goes and talks to Yoda outside, before the whole meditation scene and everything, you just hear Anakin kind of like, "Oh, what was that?" But like, I don't know if that speaks to their connection or Anakin's like connection to the Force or like what that was. I really just liked that detail. But yeah, I think it's just intended for him. So he's just like, don't trust anyone because this ain't their journey; it's yours.
Well, and also you're bringing up the like the connection to Qui-Gon. He also, I mean, it's touched upon. Has everybody here read Queen's Hope?
No,
I have.
no, I have not.
That's why I was biting my tongue, Luke.
Oh,
You can spoil it for me. Well, that's just me, not everyone else.
Xcore.
Hold on. Go ahead.
No, I won't talk about it.
Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Xcore.
You're good.
Let's just say that connection to Qui-Gon is very strong. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
It's hinted in Queen's Hope as well. But it's really interesting to watch Yoda and like how the Jedi just stand there touching Yoda for like a whole day. Like, let's be real here. That's a deep, deep meditation. And if somebody fell asleep, that would have been hilarious. The whole thing just goes down.
Kiadi Money just.
Yeah.
Speaking
Fuck
of,
Mundi.
this is one of my favorite arcs, but I always forget how Kiadi Mundi is Kiadi Mundi the entire fucking time.
Oh,
God,
he's
he's just like, it's a trick. It's a trick. I know more than everybody.
Yeah, okay.
Here. I'm number one and tell you it's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trick. It's a trick.
There's one point I want to go over. If you've watched Podwans or if you're a real OG and watched They Fly Now, you guys know how much we hate slander Kiadi Mundi.
We hate Keanu Mundi.
Throughout this entire first episode, he's just being a dick. And like, there's just this one scene. I literally wrote down word for word. Element, you literally hopped in as I'm doing Kiadi Mundi slander. Word for what he says. What Yoda claims is not possible. The dead part of the cosmic force and they lose their individuality. Kiadi Mundi, you're like one of those toxic fans that's so absolute about the force. Oh, I know everything about the force, so that's not possible. Like, screw you, Kiadi Mundi.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hi,
and
Element.
Our third
Hello.
guest today is the co-host of Diet in the Force. He is the Pod Once Podcast Star Wars Trivia Champion, Element 7, everyone.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Real quick, if you were a Jedi, what type of Jedi would you be?
A way seeker for sure.
Ah!
Yeah,
Good
Hereth
answer.
and Ven in the chat were both way seekers because
I mean,
of politics and the council.
There's nothing more appealing than being a Jedi, but also not being beholden to like the council. You just kind of like listen to the Force and do what you got to do.
No doubt. No doubt. But Element, where can the good people follow you really quick?
YouTube.com/diet-in-the-force on TikTok _element7__gang and same on Twitter.
Awesome.
Char, do you want to repeat the question for?
Yeah, Element. So I was just diving in a bit of the first episode, and I just wanted to come and ask you, why do you think Qui-Gon makes a point to tell Yoda to trust no one and come alone to Dagobah?
I mean, Qui-Gon's aware. He's aware that there are certain things that are being clouded by the dark side. And he doesn't want his message to be tainted in any way or manipulated in any way. So, like, if he were to happen and be like, oh, I'm going here on a certain quest to find something to, like, the council, and they just so happen to tell Palpatine, and, like, you know, Palpatine changes his contingencies and his plans to something else other than, you know, invading his mind with Count Dooku. Like, I think that alone was reactionary on Palpatine's part, but if he knew beforehand what Yoda was doing, it would have been even worse.
Yeah, right, spot on. So when that happens, so when Yoda goes to Dagobah after sneaking out to the hangar bay with R2 and getting in a starship and flying to Dagobah, he walks for a little bit, and then he sees this gleaming ball of light, and he's curious, like, Qui-Gon, is that you? And then Qui-Gon tells him that this place is insanely strong with the Force, and that he did not complete his training, that his manifestation to become one, to manifest into a Force ghost was not complete yet. Obviously, we do see it complete in the Kenobi show, but it's not done yet. So at this point in time, he is just a essence that is there, but you can't see him or sense him. But Yoda is being tasked to go to this place where it is literally the essence of the Force. It's where all the wellspring of life and where life is created. So that is where Qui-Gon tells him to go to begin his teachings. So to backtrack a little bit to about Yoda going to Anakin for help. Besides Anakin's expertise in disobeying the council, because Yoda tells him that he doesn't follow the rules as often as he should, why else do you think Yoda asked for Anakin's help escaping the nursing block of the Jedi Temple.
Because Anakin's not going to ask any questions. Anakin's chaotic. He's going to do it for the walls. I mean, he's like, wait. The Grand Master's going to owe me a favor? Cause trouble at the same time. All right, I'm in. I'm in.
I think also that Anakin has his own secrets.
Oh yeah,
You know, so he kind of
He has
like
many
knows. He knows what it's like, so he relates to Yoda at least on this level.
Mm.
So
And I think oh, sorry.
No, you go, Chad.
I think Yoda also sees, he's thinking he hears Qui-Gon, and I think in a way he sees a lot of that spontaneity in Anakin that he saw in Qui-Gon. And so there's almost kind of that connection of like, I got to find out, is this really Qui-Gon or not? But also like, oh, hey, it's kind of like, here's Anakin here, and like I can see a lot of their similarities, and they mean a lot to me. I think even Yoda says like it's your spontaneity and like who you are that differentiates you from everyone else. I think he just kind of, there's similarities with that I don't know, something like that. There was a rambling there, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's
Ven's
Ven-
right here.
Yeah.
Yoda ain't no snitch. Like he knows a lot, but he's a riddle person. He doesn't. Whenever he teaches someone, he never tells them the answer. Always answers in a riddle and lets them figure it out. So if someone went up to Yoda and they were like, "Are Anakin and Padme like lovers?" Yoda'd be like, "Question for another time, that is," and then just like runs off.
Good question for another time.
No. Like, think about this though. Who would be more confused? Like, if you had two characters from two different franchises, like, and you had them do a riddle off, Gollum and Yoda, who
God.
would win? Who would have the more confusing riddle?
Can I add in Riddler to this mix?
I was about to say
I was gonna
Riddler.
say,
Yeah,
Riddler, yeah.
for extra chaos.
Gollum would be more confusing, but Yoda wouldn't care.
That's true. Yoda would be like, okay, I'm done.
Just here.
They're just
No.
two
No
small,
answer there is.
pointy-eared folks that just want to solve puzzles all day.
But I was gonna mention as letting chat time go. I love how when Yoda just like shoots off, Mace Windu's like looking at Anakin like, "Are you doing this again?" And Anakin's like, "Look, for once it wasn't me. Like, leave me alone."
No, yeah, I think it's
I love
funny.
that.
I think it's I really think
Oh.
it's funny that Jesus.
Pat and Kenny are saying Uncle
Oh.
Iroh.
Oh,
Iroh.
Ooh,
Oh.
Iroh.
Uncle Iroh's
they're
Jasmine
not.
tea.
They're too
They're not-
similar.
They're not telling riddles to each other. They're just
They're
gonna
just-
sit down and have tea, and
Tea.
that's it. Just in silence. That's it.
Yeah, they're not gonna do anything. No, but I think it's interesting that Yoda does pick Anakin, because even though he does bring a lot of headaches to the council, Yoda knows, like Pep was saying, he knows all the secrets. He knows, and he loves how Anakin is trying to differentiate himself from the rest of the Jedi, and he's just like, it's not gonna make a whole lot of noise if Anakin helps me out, because I mean they expect that from him. Now, if he were to do that with Obi-Wan, everybody would be shocked, because Obi-Wan is like adamant about following the rules to a T, for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It also
Yeah.
shows that Yoda is very much self-aware. Like, he knows that he can't confide in Mace. He can't confide in anyone else in the council. He's like, these bitches are just gonna like, keep me from doing this, like following my heart.
I'd trust Kit Fisto, I'm just saying.
Oh, Jesus. You would trust Kit Fisto with his shirt off. That's
I mean, among the
I mean,
people
that-
that were there,
Exactly. Like you
couldn't
know.
trust them.
The thing is, like, they're all like too dependent on the order and the council themselves. Like, so they're gonna tell Master Yoda, like, no, man, you're too important. You can't leave. It's like, no. He's like, he's got stuff to do, man.
Yeah, he would.
Spent 76 hours a freaking day in that temple, man.
God.
Well, the one person that I think we can all agree on that he would never ask, even if he was the last person, would be fucking Kiadi.
Yachty Mundi.
Fuck that asshole.
Go to this place, I must. What about the droid?
the droid attack on the
What about the droid attack?
Well, what if it's a trick? What if Dooku is trying to get in Yoda's mind? It's like, fuck you,
What if this
Kiadi.
is
said-
deception?
He
Think
literally said it to-
think with one brain, you must this time.
Too
Too much.
Give it a rest. You've made your point. Let everybody else talk. It's their turn now. You can't say the same thing 6 times is not winning an argument. Like if you're just saying the same thing over and over again. Calm down.
No, Gollum would definitely suffer from an aneurysm. Like it would switch from Gollum and Smeagol, and Yoda was like, "You must teach yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose," and he's just like, "No."
yeah, that's exactly how that would go. But yeah,
And Riddler would be like, I'm the sane one?
yeah. Chart.
Okay, so when he's on Dagobah, after he's done talking to Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon tells him to follow the light, and the light takes him to the legendary dark side cave on Dagobah. And Yoda, he has the same vision as Anakin does on Mortis, but obviously it has a different purpose. They're both showing the future, but Anakin is being shown what his future is. But Yoda sees what is happening. He sees Shaak Ti's demise. He sees Mace Windu getting electrocuted, and he sees Darth Sidious, and Sidious says, "This is the only way," and like, typical dark side manipulation, and it was a very powerful scene having Yoda experience this. And you see all the fog and the dust come out of the cave, and he's lying on the end by the entry, all like completely incapacitated. Like he was not aware, he was not ready for that. And Qui-Gon tells him to get up, and we move on essentially to the next episode. But before we go to the second episode of this arc, I'm curious to hear all your answers on this. Do you think seeing all of his friends die was a motivation for him to continue further with his training? How does this go against his actions in Empire Strikes Back? Any one of you?
Oh,
I mean, I don't think it was motivation for him to continue his training. I think he already set out to do that. I think what this vision was a motivation for him to fall back on his ultimate teaching, which is to let go. I think he had resigned himself at that point because he always teaches, interpret you must what you see. And he interpreted that whatever come what may, he's going to have to live with it, and he's going to have to go on with his life. However, the Force, however the Force unravels before him. And I think that's why it was so much easier, not easy, but easier for him to go into exile and accept all of this stuff. I think Yoda is the best at saying, I failed, I gotta go.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. Like he also understands that the Force vision is a manipulation, and he also understands that no matter, I can't remember if it's him that says it or if it's Qui-Gon that tells him. And I just watched this yesterday, so I should remember. But at the end, he's like, there is always hope. Like that's the lesson of Star Wars. Like no matter what happens, there's always hope. So yeah, I mean, this is a vision of the future. Does he know exactly that it's going to actually happen? No. Is there any way to prevent it? Also no. But he's been tasked with doing something that's beyond himself, and he's going to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to address Alanis in the chat, right?
I was waiting for this one. I was also going to address her as well.
I'm just going to say this. Let's not think that Yoda has to fix every goddamn thing in the world to be liked. Okay? That's all I'll say.
I was going to ask Chat, do you have anything to add on this? Or
I don't know how I can follow up to that sentence just now. Element, but no, I don't know. I'm thinking about how that's worded. How does this go against Yoda's actions in Empire Strikes Back? And I think that the Element and Core made the comments about like how, kind of falling back to that ultimate state of like, just kind of going with what the Force is doing. You know, it's like you can't really go again. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey.
But I think, like, you know, it speaks to, like, when they talk to Luke and Empire, and they're like, you know, if you leave now, help them you could, but, you know, if you honor what they fight for, then, like, yeah, you'd be willing to let them be sacrificed for, like, the ultimate greater good. By you rushing in, you could be causing more harm than good. Like, you need to stick with, like, what we know could be the best path. And I don't know, there's some wisdom to that. Because obviously they saw with, like, you know, Anakin following his visions, and we see how that went, which was very, very bad, trying to fight what was just naturally going to happen. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think in a way, like, this kind of motivated him to be like, yeah, we shouldn't rush into things head first. Kind of like the whole Clone Wars. Like, we rushed into it. We should have sat and thought about it. Like, what is our actions?
There's a big difference, though, between Luke and Anakin. Anakin was trying to save Padme for Anakin. Luke was trying to save his friends because they're his friends.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with that. But I think the lesson in that also is that rushing in without a plan, you know, not really thinking about, like, why you're doing this. Ultimately, with Anakin, it was very selfish. But, like, you're not even going to, like, sit and think, like...
That was Anakin's whole plan all the time.
That's true. Is that why we all love him? He just kind of goes in and hopes for the best. Don't we all do that a little?
It was Anakin and Obi-Wan, like, the whole time, like, the entire Clone Wars. I'm just going to do this. Are you sure about that? No.
But
sure you want to do that? Absolutely not.
See, it's like the episode in the Clone Wars before, I think it was when the bombing of the temple, and you see, like, Ahsoka and Anakin flying the starfighters, and all the buzz droids are under his ship, and I'm like, that just feels like just a common everyday thing for him. Like, he just flew in, everything's breaking around him. Yeah, it's fine. It's probably fun.
I forget which episode he says it, but, like, they're about to go off and do something, and Obi-Wan is like, do you have a plan? And Anakin's like, yeah, I will.
I think that's when I think it is the first episode of Siege of Mandalore, when he's like, he's like, so Anakin, what are you doing? Get down. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, he's just, like, dodging the bullets.
Just 1,000 droids top.
No, he's just like, there's 1,000 droids out there tops.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's like, do you have a plan? He's like, no, but I'll have one.
But no, sorry.
I also don't think that it goes against his teachings in ESP. I think Yoda never tells people what to do. You know, he's giving them the warnings and he's letting them decide for themselves. It's the lesson that he came out of this with was to, you know, let people choose. And as much as he warns against Luke to, you know, be impulsive and go off, it's still a part of his teaching of letting go. You know, letting go of everything you fear to lose. So, you know, he's warning Luke about all of this stuff. And then as soon as Luke says, I understand, Yoda's like, oh, he gets it. Okay. You can whatever you want then, as long as you know about, you know, what you'd stand to lose.
No, you absolutely hit the nail on the head what I was going to say of, like, because what happens is Luke sees his friends dying, and then he's like, Yoda, can you, like, look into the future to see what happens? And he's like, it's unclear. And then, again, like Pep just said, he let him make the choice, and then he was like, all right, go. And if we're going back to this arc, he sees the future, and he's like, you know what? This could happen. This could not happen. This is Force visions. Force visions are super weird and unclear, and if I try to push forward and try to solve this problem, I'm just going to make things worse. So I'm just going to let everything play out as the will of the Force foresees it. Because if he just ran into the Jedi Temple and was like, oh my god, Mace Windu, you're going to die at the hands of Sidious. Mace Windu's going to be like, what the hell? Or
Mace
Chucky.
is just going to march into his office early.
Chucky, you're going to die twice in one movie.
Actually,
You're gonna
three
Two
times.
separate ways.
You're going to die at the hands of a blue lightsaber. I don't know how, but it's a Jedi.
I bet
Or
it's Keanu
Cyborg.
Mundi.
Yeah, Keanu Moody, he's behind me. No, it'd be like it was Keanu Moody all along.
Oh my God.
Leave them now, help them you could, but you will destroy all which they have fought and suffered.
Mm-hmm.
obviously the Empire Strikes Back boy has to get a Empire Strikes Back line in there.
Man.
It's just
I
like
understand.
again, it just goes back to like I really don't see the point y'all are getting at with like how does this go against Empire. I think this kind of just backups Empire.
I don't know. I
you take
thought
the
it was
quick
going to be an
and easy
interesting
path.
question.
Where's the question,
Vader
man?
did.
Well, I think the point in how I'm seeing that is just like, kind of Luke saw a vision of his friends dying. So like in a way, did this prompt Yoda to want to move forward and like immediately without thinking, should I move forward with this? But like, yeah, I think like the end lesson he learns kind of reinforces to not head rush into things. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm like.
In fact, he doesn't. He just goes off and continues the training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he's
if
just
he was
"Screw it,
impulsive, he'd be like, "Oh, I got to get back to the temple. Things are going down."
Yeah.
dude." Things
But he's like,
are
"Nah."
about to go down.
If you take the quick and easy path, like Vader did, you'll become an agent of evil.
Oh, number 2. Anyway.
Anyway, I digress. Enough Yoda quotes. Okay. So, with that out of the way, that is the end of the first episode of this arc. And now, who's going to take the reins for episode 2?
Sounds like a Luke thing.
Sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
Luke, you are the middleman. You are the ham and cheese at the sandwich.
Well, you got to do the plot summary, though.
That is true. Yeah, that's always fun in games. Okay, so now we dive into the second episode of this arc, which is Season 6, Episode 12, Destiny. Plot summary again. Gottfried. You took a guess there.
Headphone
Whoa.
check. Headphone check. Headphone check.
Headphone
Headphone
warning.
warning.
All right, this
Then-
is your warning in 3, 2, 1. Blinded by the dark side! The Jedi Council has begun to unravel the mystery of how the clone army was created. And now fear the Sith Lord Count Dooku was behind it. Master Yoda searches for answers, and during deep meditation, he is able to contact the spirit of Qui-Gon Jinn, who reveals to Yoda that he must manifest his consciousness after death if he is to preserve the Jedi Order. Now we must find Master Yoda. Now we find Master Yoda deep in space, searching for a path to ones who will teach him all he does not know of the Force. Oh my God, that was long.
No, I'm pretty sure I could hear the echo from Pep's headphones.
I just-
his own microphone.
So
Yeah.
I have something
That bad,
different
huh?
up my sleeves, Char, for this ranking. I'm not going to say the rankings. I have someone else that will. Let me play this up.
Oh, no,
If
here
it'll
we go.
load. If it'll load.
After reading that, I felt like Yoda after the dark side cave.
Here
I
we
just
go.
fell and I'm just dead. For a brief
Look at what you've done. You've destroyed the 7th Elemental drums. 2.5 out of 5.
Tom Kane, what are you doing?
Is there like a text to speech with Tom Kane?
Yes, there
That's
is.
crazy.
That's crazy.
That's why I gave up on you, Tom Kane. Gilbert's better.
Oh,
So Tom
man.
Kane says 2.5 out of 5.
I would say 3 out of 5 because you had to pause.
Hey, that pause was pretty good.
You needed it.
Now,
I milked
yeah.
it a little bit, okay?
Yeah, you were gonna.
No, I didn't need it. I was kind of messing up on the words, and I wanted to restart it.
Yeah.
But anyways, everyone in the chat, let me know down below what you thought about that plot summary. Was it too loud? Was it too quiet? Probably not, but let me know.
So, we go into episode 2, called Destiny. Death is just the beginning, is what the moral is. So we see Yoda obviously leaving Dagobah. He's just gone through his first trial. He is now heading to a planet. Well, okay. So here's kind of an off-topic question. Is that considered a nebula, or is
It's a
it
planet.
it's a planet?
Yeah.
Because it's like when he shows up to it, I'm like, so if you watch Star Wars, explains year like look canon update or whatever, he goes through the whole timeline. He starts there, and that's where the Force originates from. Correct?
Mhm.
If I'm
Yes.
not wrong.
Yes.
So he shows up there. He ends up like R2's like, dude, You want me to come with, or do you want me to stay behind again? And I love how Yoda just is like, basically, I don't need your help. You're cool. I just brought you along to be a companion so that I'm not. If something happens to me, you can help me out. What in the?
I was just smiling, hoping you would never acknowledge that. You don't have to put all of them on screen, Luke. You know.
Oh my God.
What? Where? Why? How?
Chase!
Chase is just
What the heck, man?
Chase is just being
Chase.
very obnoxious.
Save it for the DMs, okay?
Oh, good God.
It gets spicy in the DMs.
No, it does not. So he ends up going down into the planet itself, and you kind of get like a Kong, like there's a jungle underneath the crust of the earth type of bullshit. And then he meets the Wills, the Guardians of the Wills, that George Lucas originally wrote Star Wars. Like that was supposed to be the main title of A New Hope, was supposed to be Book of the Wills. The Wills.
Book of the Wills.
The Wills.
It's,
Chirrut
Journal
is
of
a
the
guardian.
Wills. Journal of the Wills.
Yeah, Journal of the Wills. So he meets the Wills, and they appeared to him in very many emotions.
They are confusion,
Yep.
sadness, joy, anger, and serenity.
Serenity. Funny joke. I did ask. I
Take it, Chad.
dumb
Take it,
wise.
Chad.
Dumb. Oh my God. Dumbly. I asked Alanis when we were writing these notes. I was like, "Is serenity a feeling?" And instantly she just like, "Yep, there we go." That exactly what Xcore did is exactly what she. That's exactly what she did. Like
I gotta give you 2 of these. Like I get one's not enough.
Yeah,
Hey,
It was.
I
a
gotta
dumb
give you the
question.
Jackie Chan.
No, because Char's playing through his old Kahoots, and then one of them was, what are the like 3 emotions of the Wills? And Serenity was one of them. I clicked another one. I was like, and Char's like, no, it's Serenity. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not an emotion.
No, one of them. The question was which one is not an emotion. The answer was happiness. Happiness is not an emotion. Joy is an emotion, but not happiness.
So that's just a little behind the scenes of what Alanis has to deal with when she writes these questions, and I approve or disapprove of them, which is hardly ever when I disapprove of a question. But the first question for this episode: do you believe that Yoda actually believes he has full knowledge of the Force before entering the cave?
No.
No.
I think so.
Yoda's thing is he's always like, because even at the start of this episode, it's like at the start of the arc rather, he's like you know,
Yep.
I know what does he say exactly?
I think when he's talking to Anakin,
Yeah, it's when he's talking
Yeah.
to Anakin, he's like, yeah, it's not possible with everything we know of the Force, but what we don't know of the Force.
Yep.
So he already understands that there's a lack of understanding.
We have to take into consideration the context with which he answers the question. And that's basically Serenity asking him, or Serenity saying that she has, or that they have something to show Yoda, and Yoda says, "Know everything I do of the Force." And I think he believes
was very
that.
confident.
Yeah,
I think he really believes it. He's capable of being conceited in this case, because I mean he's almost 900. There's almost nothing anybody can show him about the Force, and this is like the first thing that's happened to him in like centuries that is new. And while he can admit, and has admitted, as you guys pointed out, that there are things he doesn't know, I think in his conceit, what's the word that
hubris?
in his hubris, like when he meets this person or this entity that he doesn't know, you know, he's being a little bit, you know, conceited, and he's like, there's nothing you can show me that I don't know, and I think he believes it at that very moment, and he's proven wrong in the next few seconds.
No, yeah, I would agree with you, Pep, because of the way he says it. Like, he's like, I know everything about the Force, I do. And the Wills are like, ha! You don't, motherfucker! Get to learning, because we're about to make you learn today.
I mean, he's like, it goes
Yeah.
with what happens next, right? He's
Yeah.
like, afraid I'm not. But he can, you know.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he does step up to the plate, and he's like, maybe okay, maybe I don't know everything about the Force, and I think that's a very interesting thing, because like Pep was saying, he's 900 years old. Of course, he's probably going to know quite a bit about the Force. He's been everywhere. He's seen things. He's lived a century or 9 centuries of a life. But yeah, it's interesting. Hereth?
No, I would agree with you guys. Like at this point, Yoda's lived about 800 and like what 78 years. I'm not gonna try to guess his age, but like this is just a ballpark number. He thinks he knows everything. He's seen centuries of, I wouldn't say it's like what, like a century of everything, and he believes he's like all knowledgeable and powerful, and he gets proven wrong. So sure, in his mind, and what he's saying, he's like, yeah, I know everything, and that's the point. Even Yoda doesn't know everything, so he can always learn, and that's what he does with this arc. He learns about everything.
I headcanon that as soon as he answered, he was like, "Oh no."
No,
Probably. Char?
Oh no, I'm with Element on this one, where Yoda goes into the cave knowing that he is fully confident on his abilities and what he knows of the Force. But when he goes, he's like, "Oh, there's a lot that I am not aware of." And this is just taking one of those big steps into becoming to reach immortality. And that he has to go through a lot of trials and tribulations to pass the Wills' tests. So because he was like aware of the evil and aware of the darkness, and he's like, Jedi Master, I am. And
No, I
all of it.
Self, I do.
Yeah, he was confident of his abilities, but in the long run, he was like, wow, I was not seeing that. I did not expect that to be that much, that excruciating, that energizing. Like, I didn't know it was supposed to. I don't know it was going to take that much out of me to pass the test. So, I think that he was not fully prepared.
We tell ourselves these things to, you know, it's galaxy cope, you know. He's in front of all of these aspects, and then he's like, afraid I'm not, and then they're like, you will be. And I feel like that backs up Empire Strikes Back. Luke's like, I'm not afraid. He's like, you will be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's
now
how
Yoda's like, now the roles are reversed. Ha, gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like, I did this once. Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. No, yeah. Before we get into the second question, I mean, he ends up following the Wills into another dangerous situation where he literally has to fight off a Nazgul-looking Yoda. Like, that's what I would like when I was watching this. I was like, okay, so he's in the Shadow Realm. He's in the Shadow Realm of Lord of the Rings, where the
Star
ring
Wars.
rates look. Yeah, I know, but where there's a lot of things that I have on my mind recently. There's a lot of nerd shit going on in my life. But it's so interesting to see like him take on this form of the dark side. It begs the question, do you think the other Jedi would be surprised that Yoda had a dark side? Do you think that they thought that he was incapable of that?
Yeah, I mean, even he didn't realize how powerful his own dark side was. But I mean, it surprised him. So
Yeah, I think everyone on the council is aware that everyone has their own inner darkness, which is a different thing, and it manifests into the dark side once it starts to control you, which is what Yoda says in this episode. He's like, "It is I who control you." The dark side, my dark side, you are. Reject you, I do. And you know, Mace is a good example of this. He uses his inner darkness to channel the more primal feelings that he has, but I hate to use this word, but he edges where you know
What is he, an edgelord now?
he edges so that he doesn't let them control him, which is why Vopad, is still in line with the tenets of the Jedi Code. And so, I mean, they wouldn't be surprised that every Jedi has inner darkness, but they'd be surprised to see that thing. Because that's a freaky Yoda.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, it's scary to see Yoda fighting like a miniature self. It's just great. Oh my God. I mean, bet.
Oh.
Cody, your thoughts?
You always give me like you always give me
Yeah.
hey, what are your thoughts after like the worst sentences?
Yep.
Like, I don't know what to say. I guess. Hey, thanks for having
Hey,
me.
you gotta get better at your composure, man. Come on.
No, because this is my real emotion. Oh my God.
Is it
Who I am.
confusion? Is it anger? Is it?
I've missed being. I don't
think it's serenity.
That's the last thing. No, I think I think you look at episode 1, like Yoda is showing some form of emotion that's not a calm approach. It's not like a focused wise Jedi Master approach. And they're like, oh, what's wrong with him? Like, is it the dark side? Like, what's going on? There's that bit of panic that the council has, and it's not even anything exhibiting itself as dark side. They're just afraid oh, he may be corrupted to it. So I think they know the dark side dwells within all, and to see him have a dark side, I think obviously for him they'd be a little surprised, but it's okay, it just really shows that this really is in everyone and how seriously we even have to take it, even our grandest of masters. So yeah.
I also have to ask, do you think the part of the dark side that is in the temple, in that Sith shrine, also kind of has that effect on him actually having more of a presence in that dark side in that moment?
So I want to find who the Jedi architect was. It's hey, I have this great plot of land right here. We can just build this temple right above this. It's just a Sith temple. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Well,
and they're not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, it's just listen, it's great property value. You got the sun right there, but yeah,
the real estate agent was really pushing it.
He was. It was probably Dex from his diner days, just I got this great piece of land right here. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I do think that it maybe in a bit of a way that was a bit of hubris on the Jedi. I think oh, we've overcome these dark side tendencies. We're in control of our inner light and following the Force, and by doing that, building above it, that corruption can seep into the foundations, and you kind of see that through the Clone Wars. They think they're doing what's right, and the dark side is slowly seeping in without them realizing it.
Well,
yeah.
in Pep, that's explained in Tarkin, correct? Of why the Jedi did it. Or do we not really have an explanation of why in canon? Because I also thought that we didn't have a canon explanation of how Anakin was able to turn into a Force ghost, but then you tweeted out that there was one. So
yeah, the book is called Absolutely Everything You Need to Know.
Well, there you go. I should get that.
Copy.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I think it. Yeah, I think it comes down to hubris. I think they correctly believe that the light side is balance, and it is, because the light doesn't obstruct any flow of the Force. But what they don't realize is that any nexus will seek to equalize itself. And this is the same reason why Yoda is able to exist on Dagobah, is because he is a paragon of light, and outside of that cave, it's they're balancing each other out. And so on top of this dark side nexus, you've got hundreds of Jedi.
Yeah.
And so while light itself is balance, and dark side, and the existence of dark side is not imbalance, it's going to seek to equalize in a way that they think that they're overpowering it, but it's just going to it's going to affect them negatively, and I think that it shows.
Well, I mean, this isn't the first time that the Jedi have built a temple where there's a dark side nexus. I mean, Octo exists. And that's older than Coruscant.
Yeah.
It's sort of a thing they do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and is it safer to leave that thing somewhere on a planet like Coruscant unattended, or is it a better decision to put a bunch of Jedi and tell people they can't go in there?
That's a good point.
We
Yeah,
get, we
that's a
get
good-
a little bit of that in it's Into the Dark, where they, that's
Yes.
where they take Sith artifacts that they find that are too dangerous to be left where they found them.
Yep.
Hmm.
Or
That's an
they.
interesting
That's a
question.
good point.
No, yeah, it begs it. It's in. It just. I find it so funny that like the Jedi were just like, okay, fuck them. We're just gonna
Well,
put our shit on top of theirs.
So
I think
the thing
there is. Go ahead, Pep. And I'll
well,
follow.
I think they are constantly taking into consideration what could happen if they do leave it alone. I think what it came down to over time, including with the hubris of the Jedi Order, is their concentration of numbers within that nexus. If you think about the numbers leading up to Order 66, they had over 10,000 Jedi, and that was spread across the galaxy. They had temples everywhere. Whereas by the time Order 66 happened, they were mostly concentrated. They had given up their kind of outpost approach of galactic peacekeeping, which was another mistake. And it just concentrated everything on that spot, which made it even more... It made it easier to cloud all of the Jedi since they were on that spot. Whereas if like they were spread out, there would be some Jedi that would come back and be like, hey, I think you guys are being a little bit idiotic right now. So, yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, but I think like just their concentration on Coruscant kind of definitely led to them being clouded a lot easier than if they were spread out.
And I think it goes to with hubris and all that. They became very complacent after the High Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like, yeah, the Sith, they're gone.
Yeah.
At some point, the Nile, we beat them too. Like, come on, we're the Jedi.
Look,
Right?
yeah. We'll see how that plays out in Phase 3.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean,
the point.
it's not over, but I mean, they obviously win at whatever the cost actually happens to be. I mean, you don't hear about
That's
the
where I was going with it. The Sith, right? If they leave these dark side nexuses alone, and a Sith builds on top of it, then
problem.
it's dangerous. So I think they were like thinking that they would just kind of like just build on top of it, equalize the nexus, and just But then, as you said, they got complacent and they thought the Sith were gone.
And I mean,
And
and
they
we
didn't
see,
really
we see a
act.
few times too what can happen when even a non-force sensitive person comes into contact with a Sith artifact. Like it's bad. It's bad news. So, yeah, I mean, is it okay to leave that thing? And especially, I mean, Coruscant was never like a small planet, a small populous planet. It's a world that's a city, and it's in the core. So,
Has everybody read Shadow of the Sith?
I am a quarter of the way through. So,
All right, I can't say anything.
Oh yes.
I read the part at the dig. That's like the last thing.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna point to.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like one of the things I was talking about.
Yeah, that book is wild.
Dude, it's crazy. It's a thing.
But I wanted to point out, I do find it interesting. If Clone Wars never did get canceled, we would have had an arc where Palpatine would have gone down to the Sith Shrine and Ahsoka would have encountered him. Obviously, that got changed into Ahsoka's Walkabout, and they combined two arcs together in Season 7. But Clone Wars did have a plan of touching the Sith Shrine with Palpatine. So we know Sidious was screwing around with it during the Clone Wars.
Yeah. And good God. Jesus.
Let me tell you something, friend.
But you have heard of him.
But you
Can I
have
do
heard.
my Jack Sparrow walk right now?
Oh, do
Please,
not,
please.
do not. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, Char, go ahead.
So do I? Would all the Jedi be surprised if Yoda had a dark side part? Of course they would. The Jedi at the time had no idea that the dark side could exist within the Jedi because that just seemed far fetched to all of them. Because I made a video about balance in the Force, and one of the parts was that darkness has to exist. It has to exist within all of us. It has to exist with. Doesn't necessarily have to exist with the Sith, but controlling your own inner darkness and having light prevail, that's the balance. So Yoda realizing that there is darkness within him is proving that balance that is within himself. So for all the other Jedi, of course it would be crazy to have a dark side part of yourself, but that's the balance of the Force. You need to have darkness to counter or to balance light. So
Yeah, as I keep saying to everybody, the dark side itself is not what is not imbalance. It's the Sith.
mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. And this is
I mean, if we look at what we have, like we have this arc, we have Mortis, like at the very center of the Force, there is the darkness. I mean, we're at the place where the living Force was created, and there's just a whole island over there where it's a little off. So
no, yeah, absolutely.
Man. This
Absolutely.
this cycle is so brilliantly illustrated in Padawan. If you guys are looking for a book to read afterwards,
yeah, I've got too many books to read, but
Yeah, I'm in the middle of that.
For those of you who have read Shadow of the Sith, chapter 12 is pretty cool.
Yeah, chapter 12 is
it's pretty cool.
I would have referenced it earlier, but I don't like spoiling books for people. So
anyway,
Pat said we need a char to do a Jack Sparrow mashup High Republic.
No,
So what would I do? Like
cosplay. It's a cosplay. You do
like
a cosplay.
like a mix between like a Stellan Geos and a Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
but here's my thing.
How would that work? Huh?
Wouldn't Jack Sparrow in Star Wars just be Hondo?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
But Hondo's not a
yes.
Jedi, so
He's not a Jedi, but still.
But if I want to cosplay him, do I really want to turn myself into a weak way? You know?
yes.
Okay.
Is that a question? Like, are you being serious?
You'll do what you must, Char.
There's a gnat in my room. Get out of here.
You will try. So Yoda goes from fighting off his inner demons in completing that, taking it completely out, and then the emotions all show up, and they like one by one they each like are going around really really fast, and then all of a sudden they like vanish. And then he ends up getting, I can't really remember, this is about a little bit of phasey part, but somehow he gets put into another vision. It might be after he takes out the dark side part of him, because he absorbs it. He passes out. That's what happens.
Yeah, he passes out at the dark side cave on Dagobah, but this is the one where and
then he goes through the valley.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just failing right now, but I digress. He ends up getting a vision of the the younglings from the gathering. He sees Ahsoka lying in the Jedi Temple, and Katuni comes down and she goes, "I will take all of your pain away. Just grab my hand."
Yeah.
And like thinking,
and
like
Ahsoka
I was thinking to myself in my head, I was like, why wouldn't Yoda just be like, "Nah, F that. I'm not touching your hand. This is not. It's not how this is supposed to go." But he does it, and then he sees the vision of what could have been. We get a light set. We get Count Dooku if he hadn't turned to the dark side. We got Ahsoka. We've got
Qui-Gon.
yeah. Sorry, I was reading. No, I was reading to Paul's because that was at me.
Resist the dark side, Luke. Don't look at the chat.
No, I'm sorry. So you get Qui-Gon, Dooku, Obi-Wan. Everybody's there. And then he starts to get into himself. He's like, "Oh, I'm really, really enjoying this. Like, oh, this is how it should be." And then immediately, Dooku says something that kind of flips a switch in Yoda, and he's like, "No, this can't be real. This can't. Like, you are a traitor, Dooku."
Know you to be dead, I do.
Yes.
You, my old Padawan, are a traitor.
Yes.
Something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. So basically, the last question of this episode is Yoda's vision of peace was seeing all Jedi together. Do you think he holds guilt for what happened to Dooku, to Qui-Gon, or to Ahsoka?
I definitely think he blames himself at least a bit, whether he admits it or not, for what happened with Dooku. I mean, that's like having a Padawan is like the closest thing you're going to have to having a kid as a
Family,
Jedi.
yeah.
And to see your Padawan, who raised probably one of the best Jedi that you've seen in years, in Qui-Gon Jinn, and having him turn to the dark side is, and then having that Padawan be murdered by a Sith who you thought were extinct from the galaxy. He's got to be blaming himself at least partly.
Yeah, he holds some measure. So for me, Yoda has trained over 20,000 Jedi, and I think to some degree he holds some measure of guilt for losing any number of them. But because he's trained so many people, he has experience with copium, and I think it shows in this episode, his ability to I mean, we see in the Age of Republic comics with Yoda that he does harbor shame for his failures. But at the end of the day, it's his ability to rise above and see like the other side of things and see the new hope, as it were. So like his decision to take Katuni's hand, for example, it's not just a simple decision to take her hand. It's everything around him, the Force and what it's like doing to his mind. And that's why he takes the hand. And in this case, we're just seeing the cope happen gradually until he finally arrives at the fact that, wait, like, this isn't real.
It's Yoda going through the 7 stages of grief. He just finally hit acceptance. He's accepting what's going on around him. Because he just went through depression, he just went through acceptance.
That was Galaxy Brain.
Yeah, Galaxy Brain. Cody, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think Yoda, like, I think you all mentioned like 20,000 Padawans. Like, I think whether he admits it or not, he has some forms of attachment, not as aggressive, as like say Anakin or others, but it's those feelings of care, like it is family at the end of the day. I mean, and that's, I think, exemplified like in Last Jedi when you see him show up and he's just like, Skywalker, missed you, have I? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's nice. That's just like, a nice like little like, hey, I missed you. Like, even though I'm a ghost and I can see you anytime, like, I really missed you. And like, I don't know. It's just those little things where it's like he has that attachment. So I think, even from the happy side, you look at the sad side of like, yeah, grief, guilt. Like, yeah, absolutely. I think he feels that to some degree. But he, works through it the best he can. So yeah, I think seeing that was probably traumatizing to him. But it's like, yeah, this is what I want. I can't have it, but maybe I can help make the future better to make it as close to this peace and happiness as I can have it.
Yeah. And he's still out here trolling Skywalkers,
God. I love it. That's an eternity now of him just showing up behind Ghost Anakin or Luke, like just
Yeah.
Can he really troll them after their Force goes since they like?
Well, they exist forever. It's just an endless trolling. He's
but can he troll them anymore? Because now they can sense him coming. Because it's basically they're all part of the same building.
They're all hanging out. They're all hanging out
in front of your nose.
No, they're all literally hanging out in front, like in the temple, but in Force like that part that he sees in that vision. That's just Force Ghost purgatory. That's literally. Right.
I was gonna say, I imagine Yoda just appearing and then disappearing and then appearing, then disappearing, and Anakin's like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yoda, the shit's getting real old. I know I can't kill you.
All sight you do. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
Qui-Gon,
now,
can you tell him to knock it off? God.
well, so now are we getting a show of just the Force Ghosts? Like, we've seen all the regular characters. Let's just have one
Well,
of just
I
the
can't.
Force Ghosts.
I can't wait for a
It's gotta be a
certain
Lego
view-
show. If we can get it.
Well, I can't wait for a certain point of view. Return of the Jedi,
Ooh.
because
You see Force Ghosts in a
I-
circle rehearsing for the race scene at the end of The Rise of
Oh.
Skywalker.
well, obviously you get that scene. You get the Force Ghost scene with Obi-Wan, but I also think you're going to get the point of view of when Yoda ends up dying from Yoda, his acceptance into the bounds of the Force. You're probably going to get him seeing Qui-Gon for the first time in 60 years. You're going to see him probably, seeing Obi-Wan again. And then obviously you're going to get the big story of we're going to get Anakin learning how to do it in the final moments with Obi-Wan. And that's probably going to be my favorite story in that book.
One last one.
Learning how to do what?
Because I've wanted that answer. I've wanted that in a story form
Yeah.
for so long.
Oh.
Him becoming
Yeah.
a Force Ghost.
Well, and I think it'd be cool because, you see right after Yoda's death, and we don't see him again in Return of the Jedi till the very end, but you see Obi-Wan right after consoling Luke, and he's like, he's more machine now than man, and he's still convinced that Anakin's gone. But what happens in that buffer between then to the end, where you're like, okay, did Yoda, like you said, did Yoda and him kind of talk? It's
So
just
which is funny because in a certain point of view, A New Hope, Qui-Gon knows everything that has happened up until this point and what will happen in the future.
Mhm.
Force Ghosts know what's going to happen.
They're beyond time.
They're beyond time.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why Obi-Wan says those words is to push Luke into that confrontation, because he knows and he wants to hear Luke say, "No, there's still good in him. I felt it." And
Oh, I
kind of push
see.
back. That's how I look at it. Pat.
Oh,
When you-
that, like a self-confirmation,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that,
he knows what
ooh.
he's about to do is pushing Luke in the right direction.
Well, and also
Yeah, that's a good point.
that's sort of Luke's final test. I mean, they both tell him that the Vader's your final test. You're not a Jedi until you confront your father, and it's are you going to take vengeance on him, or what are you going to do here, kid?
Yeah.
It's sort of a skill check. Like, hey, have you been paying attention in class? Did you take good notes? Because this is it here. And Luke, that whole movie is he's walking that line between giving into his darkness.
I that symbolic scene of him looking at his own hand after cutting off his dad's, you're like, whoa, I'm gonna become more machine than man if I
if I finish this,
shit.
it'll be just like him.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah,
No.
sorry for getting into it, getting a little bit derailed, but I really, I love the concept of Force Ghosts knowing what.
That was an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
And but Hereth, Char, what are your thoughts on the question?
Hereth, go ahead.
Well, again, it just kind of feel like I said, it's Yoda going through the 7 stages of grief. He finally just got over his depression. He's finally going into acceptance. I also view it as the dark side and light side of him are fighting right now. The dark side's winning when he's going through death row. He's seeing all this pain, suffering, and death, and everything that he thinks he's caused. And then the light reaches out. It's like, hey, we can show you a path that is there. And it's still the dark side is deceiving him, and he's like, I'm going to take your hand, thinking it's this lighter half. He goes through, he sees all this pain and guilt, and he's like, you know what? This isn't real. I'm done. And he's like, so yes, he does hold all this guilt and pain, but he, just like Pep was saying, Yoda's ability to let go was the thing that made him overpower and be able to accept it and move on and let go and pass on to his training from Qui-Gon.
Yep. Char?
Yeah, and just going off of what Hereth was saying too, Yoda's version of peace with seeing all the Jedi, he understood that was a vision, that it wasn't real. Because he calls out Adigalia and says, "You are dead." He sees Qui-Gon and says, "You died on Naboo, you did." And he sees Dooku and said, "My old Padawan, a traitor you are." And then you see Dooku about to cut him down, and then Yoda's able to let go and and he's able to move on to the next test. But that just proves that, yeah, he does have a little bit of a guilt, because like all tests, why they would always go through a moment in time where it impacts you. I'm not going to compare this to like Stranger Things and Vecna, but like it's kind of like what happens with Max and like the ballroom scene, how it was like a memory that made her happy,
Never.
but at the same
seen
time,
Stranger Things.
it was supposed to be a hurtful moment caused by the vision itself. But she was aware that this is not real, and this is supposed to be a kind of a test to see what is going on here and a way to maneuver around it. So it's like he's aware that it's not real and that he's able to accept the truth, as maybe he did not before, but he's growing. He does hold guilt, but he's willing to accept the past and move forward.
Stranger Things spoiler alert. Jeez.
It's been out for over a month.
Anyway.
For a hot minute, I missed.
Yeah,
it.
if you don't care about the show, and if you
I
haven't
haven't-
started it yet, you'll probably forget it.
No,
Yep.
yeah, I will. I will forget. I'm gonna wait until it's all over and then I'll watch it.
Sorry,
Oh,
for a
wait.
hot moment, I just wanted to say, Char, that when you said Max, I thought you meant Max Rebo, and my mind went.
No,
I was like, what?
I'm talking about
Did
Sigma.
I was just so confused for a second, then I caught on, but I just had to
That
let
man,
you know. Like,
that man survived that bombing. That man
Yeah.
is playing. In
I'm sorry,
season
Luke.
2 of
Max
Boba
Rebo
Fett
is a
at
bigger glup shithead than Dexter.
Chattentime
Jetster.
Oh
was-
hell no!
Yeah.
Hell no! Max Rebo is not a no. Dexter Jetster is the ultimate glup shitto, and I will not be taking any more questions. On to the next episode. Char, hit the plot summary.
Max Rebo is the ultimate jizz whaler.
I was gonna say Chattentime.
He is. I mean, it's true.
He is a
Canon.
galaxy-renowned jizz whaler.
I was gonna say
Forward.
Chattentime's mind went
Like-
from Max Rebo to Super Freak because of the ILM documentary.
I wonder how many times
much.
Sice Noodles went up to Max Rebo and say, "Hey, what them toes do?"
Shaylo Ren has entered the chat.
oh my god.
All right.
All
Char.
right. Oh, Pat says Senator Chuchi is the biggest club shitto.
Oh, jeez.
All right, so
Simping,
now
simping for Chuchi.
Yep.
we dive into season 6, episode 13, the final episode of season 6 until, or of the Clone Wars show until it got resumed 6 years later. Episode 13, Sacrifice. And, well,
Headphone-
you guessed it. Godfried is coming back for the final episode. All right,
headphone
so
check.
headphone warning in 3, 2,
Have to throw your headphones now.
2.5,
No, I'm just lowering
1,
it.
1. Okay, whatever. All right. Darkness on Dagobah. All attention is focused on Yoda, who claims to hear the voice of a long-dead Jedi. Convinced that he is guarded by Qui-Gon Jinn, he finds 5 priestesses who will teach him how to manifest consciousness after death. After many trials, Yoda travels to Moraband, ancient home planet of the Sith. For now, he must face the true evil that may be his undoing, and one that seeks to control the galaxy.
I will say, I am gonna miss these for Rebels because
Enjoy 'em while they
do not have plot summaries. So
They-
I mean,
Well, I guess
you
we just gotta
gotta
make our own plot summaries.
Oh, good God, no. Yeah, Pep.
Empire Day.
Jesus Christ.
Star Wars Rebels.
Star Wars Rebels.
I'm still waiting for our that one episode to drop, Hereth, so I can hear your Godfried impression. That was
yeah.
you heard it
that
a little
will
bit
be.
come out for a bit.
Uh,
Right, just a second. I just did it for 3 seconds.
oh yeah, that's right. But Hereth, you take
Before we get into the episode,
Oh, that's right. That's
I got. You know how I did Tom Kane last time? I got a little someone else this time.
Oh God, please be Godfrey.
Wait, I gotta process it because I have to process. There we go.
Sure, I'm also you, but quieter. That plot summary blew out your host eardrums 3-5.
Shut up, Godfried! You're an imposter!
Oh my.
You are a liar and a swindler!
Oh my!
You won't master the Gottfried voice until you can speak in that volume and still sound like him.
Yep, you have to get
I
quieter.
promise, I am just fine. Okay.
Honestly, it sounds better that way when you're not.
Shut up!
Yeah. Pep's like, I am never coming on Pod Once ever again.
I think I'm scheduled to.
I could be quiet, but I choose not to.
You're just gonna see that like sign up sheet
Got
just
some
get
Rebels episodes.
removed.
Oh yeah, Rebels. Hereth,
Yeah.
take us home.
I'll take you guys home. So last episode ends with the Wills being like, "Hey, you should go to the ancient world of Moorband." And Yoda's like,
don't forget like one of the coolest parts of that last episode. We didn't even talk about it. Like right before he's about to go to Moorband, they show him that they've already done this. They're all dead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're like bet you weren't expecting that.
We're all Force Ghosts.
He
It
was
was
like,
the
"Oh,
Wills all
He's like, "Oh,
along.
shit, son."
but no, like they were like, "Hey, you need to go to Moorband." And Yoda's like, "Oh boy, the ancient world of Sith. Let's go." And so Yoda jumps into hyperspace. He lands on the planet, goes down. It's all this like dusted fog. It's like, again, not to rip off myself again, but it's literal death row. He's like walking through. He gets into the temple, and Darth Bane comes out, played by Mark Hamill, and he starts speaking about his own story and like talks about like why he created the rule of two and like his whole philosophy and his whole legacy. So I want to ask, do you think Darth Bane needs to leave a legacy to stay as the Sith? Like, is that like
As with all Sith, yes.
Yeah.
Because that is how they cheat death. They tether themselves to an object, and it's kind of like a residual haunt. The concept of a residual haunt. They tether themselves and the thoughts that they had at the time to that object, and when it comes back, they're like, "Oh, this is all I can think about." So, I always love to like meme that Darth Bane comes out to Yoda and is just like, "Do you know who I am?" And Yoda's like, "Nope." And then Bane's like, "What? That's
What are you even
impossible."
doing here? Why are you here? He's this guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's trolling Sith Lords now. He's moved on from the Skywalkers.
Oh
Chat-
God.
Chattentime? You look like you were about to say something, and then
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in line with that. Like, yeah, man, the Sith are just narcissists, man. They just, I mean, they are. I mean, come on, we've seen it long enough, and so I think part of that is just like, I've got to leave a legacy. Like, it's tethered in that way where it's like the rule of two, like it's just another of those. Just it's about me and me and me and me. Like that's how I see it. Am I glad that Mark Hamill came back? Absolutely. But like, yeah, Darth Bane, totally. Like he just goes in this 2-minute rant. I'm like, dude, just are you done? We've heard it from every other Sith. Like, come on, we get it. Like, oh, Maul fell down a shaft with like no legs. Okay, well, like, yeah. But that's how I did not just say that. But yeah, that's how I see it. It's just a narcissistic trait that exists within the Sith, and he kind of exemplified that. So you see others like, you know, exhibiting that in some way. Palpatine with having a clone because he wants to cheat death that way and just keep on recirculating his spirit. Or like, I think is it from the comics, Momin, who like infuses his spirit into a mask. Like,
Yep.
Like, you know, it's just, you know, Element put it best. They just want to tether themselves to something because they can't find that real inner peace, which is, you know, what the light side of the Force can really offer.
Question.
Answer.
Did Bane also adhere to like the dyad force of things? Because I remember reading in the Secrets of the Sith that Palpatine believed in the dyad, but wasn't that process passed down from master to apprentice, like the dyad part of it?
The doctrine of the dyad was something that was ancient. And Bane took that and established the rule of two out of those concepts.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I couldn't remember that if it was he who had come up with the dyad or if it had been done before even him. It gets a little hazy there in my mind.
I like to headcanon that the doctrine of the dyad started with Revan.
It's a good headcanon.
That is a pretty good one.
We may
Unseen
find
for
out.
generations, because he's like, "Yo, me and Bastila, we had a good thing."
What were they?
Jesus.
The first dyad.
The thirsting for Bastila has entered the chat.
Oh,
Seven.
I
Jesus.
actually that Darth Bane scene I've watched so many times. I've actually remembered every line that he says. So I mean, hey, who wants to reenact it with me? Who wants to be Yoda?
I'll do Yoda since I feel like I can
Okay.
do a decent Clone
All right,
Wars
so
Yoda.
here's-
Oh,
so
God, here we
you're
go.
walking
you
up
just gotta
to the
hold
tomb.
on. Wait. Okay, I'm trying to remember his lines, so you gotta bear
Okay.
with me. But you got the bulk of
All right,
it,
ready?
So just go for it.
So you're walking up to the tomb,
Okay.
like
Sorry,
like
let me-
Steve from
sorry.
Minecraft, you know.
Okay, just here's
All right,
my
ready?
cane. Okay.
I start.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay.
Why have you come to my tomb, Jedi?
To learn the ways of the Force. Yes.
Do you know who I am?
No.
He says,
Yes,
"No, you, I
Darth
do."
Bane.
No, or he say no, I know you, or I don't.
No,
know
he
He
you?
says,
Yes.
"He says, no, you, I
Darth
do."
Bane.
Created the rule of two.
Oh,
You did.
no, you I do. Created the will of two, you did. Yes.
The Sith killed each other, victims of their own greed. But from the ashes of destruction, I was the last survivor. I chose to pass my knowledge on to only one. I created a legacy so resilient that now you come before me. Have you come to be my apprentice? You must kill me first.
Yeah, you already are.
Do you not fear me?
Fear you. I do not.
And then I don't remember what else he said.
I forgot what the last thing Yoda says. It's like,
Yeah.
Nothing
exist.
to teach.
Oh yeah, exist. You do not.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you do not.
I get sucked back in the tomb.
What a concept!
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Just a
yeah.
quick little fact about Yoda. If you don't have absolutely everything you need to know,
Focus.
this Geimer stick is a natural painkiller and helps him meditate. So Yoda like chews on his cane.
Oh
Oh,
shit!
fuck.
What? It's
Just carry it
portable
around there.
ketamine.
No,
I'll
it's
just read
it's
some of
laced.
it.
It's laced with oxycodone. That's
When
what-
Yoda chews on the Geimer bark, it helps him meditate, and its nutritious juice inside eases thirst and acts as a painkiller.
AKA,
Imagine him just
AKA
sitting in the
he's
Jedi-
taking that good kush out of that. He doesn't smoke weed. He just chews on it.
Imagine him sitting in the council chambers, him just gnawing on his cane. He just crisscross applesauce.
Mace comes in, he's like, "Never mind."
I think I
Walks out.
I am.
No, he walks in and goes,
Delicious juice.
motherfucker.
Oh my
All
god,
right.
I can see
Watching
it
on my
now.
word.
I can
And
see it
now
now.
you know why Terrace Anube also has a cane.
Mm.
Yeah, Terrace Anube, rest in peace.
They
In
got that
the-
good shit.
In,
Oh my
in the
God.
in the Grand Inquisitorius. But sorry, Harris, go ahead.
Anyway, I was gonna just summarize the scene, but why would I destroy from this amazing bit that Char and Chattentime has just done? So we flash forward. Dooku's like sitting meditating, and his droid walks in like, "Yo, your master Darth Sidious wants to see you." And Dooku's like, "Oh boy, here we go!" Like he's like thinking like all this great things gonna happen. He's like, "Has the time finally come?" Goes back to Coruscant. We get this amazing homage back to Attack of the Clones.
He's looking drippy.
He looking drippy as hell. He got that like Sith Stride outfit. It looks pretty cool. You can play in Battlefront too. And Palpatine's like, "Hey, so you know our good friend, your good old friend Yoda?" And Dooku's like, "Yeah." He's like, "He's gone to Moorban." And Dooku's like, "What?" And he's like, "We must go down here. Follow me." And, like they walk down. They go like in this little cool like.
I have a feeling that like Dooku knew that already because like when it flashes to him, he's like,
Yeah, he opens his eyes.
There's that connection. Like he's clearly meditating, standing there, and he's like he knows something's going on.
Again, they go down. They go to like this really cool like ritual statue, and there's a knife in the middle. And Sidious like, "Hey, just here's an idea. We're gonna really go past the TV censors and so on. Slice." It's like just a drip, and then like you get this really cool like homage. It's kind of similar to like what Sidious is doing in the World Between Worlds. He's like playing around with fire and like shocking it with lightning and just like and Dooku's like, I guess I'll just do the same thing, even though I really don't know how this works, and he starts shocking it as well.
Is this right? More or less, like.
So we gotta. It's like mixing streams. Like he's just like he's not really sure if he wants to do it, and then once he makes that decision, he's like, "Yep, we're doing this. We're doing this."
And then Palpatine like moves away, and Dooku's like, "Do I just keep this energy going? Okay."
And actually, a fun fact, that's the first ever, this is not a part of my facts, but this is the first canon appearance of Dooku's Dark Ritual outfit that you do see in Battlefront 2.
I already mentioned that. Right on top of that chart.
This is the first canon appearance. So,
bro,
that's not canon.
Get on it.
That is canon.
Anyway.
And no, Pep is not wearing the shirt. Let me tell you that.
Or the mug.
It's Ahsoka today.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of dying in a vision in this episode, but I mean,
she would interact kind of similar with like what Palpatine's doing later on in canon. Just you just gotta jump 20 years into the future. But anyway, Palpatine's playing around with this. They both were like, "Hey, we should probably construct someone like that. Someone like Yoda would trust." And Dooku's like, "I got the perfect person." And Yoda's walking, and he's hearing the will of the Force, and then he just sees Sifo Dyas chained up, and he looks tortured and battered, and Yoda's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "You've been here this entire time?" And Sifo Dyas is like, yeah, totally, I've been here this entire time. Hey, you want to know who the Sith Lord is? And Yoda's like, red flag, no, I don't care. I already been through this lesson 100 times. Your vision, let's just get this over with. And then it changes from Sifo Dyas to Sidious, and then like a circle just forms around Yoda, and he drops. So going back to the Sifo Dyas portion of this, do you think if Sidious chose another face besides Sifo Dyas, Yoda would have caved in and maybe possibly helped?
Dooku chose the face.
Yeah.
Dooku chose that face because Sidious walks away, and he's telling him, we gotta figure out someone that he'll trust. And Dooku you see Dooku close his eyes and concentrate, and it cuts, and it's Sifo Dyas. Dooku chose that face, and there's a reason because Dooku was the Padawan, but him and Sifo Dyas were like best friends. Back in the ye olden days.
Well,
although I don't think that's canon anymore. That might have been legends.
Well, and the fact that the arc starts with them finding Sifo Dyas' lightsaber in that wreckage.
Correct.
For all that we know, they don't have real confirmation that he's dead. Finding that lightsaber, it's like, oh my god, I just found Sifo Dyas. He's been held here for 10 years. Like,
wait a minute.
I think they do confirm it in
Dooku killed him, but then Dooku could be lying.
No, in the file, when they go to look at his file, when they find out about Silman and everyone, they say that he was cremated by the Felucians. So
that's what Obi-Wan and Anakin find out on Felucia.
Well, I guess then, yeah. So I guess to me though, it's just like, I kind of threw a wrench in what I was saying. So yeah, no, I like facts over what I was thinking. But yeah, I don't know. I think that was still like, I think that was still the best option though. Like you all were saying, like, I mean, if you were to go with anyone else, I think maybe someone like Qui-Gon, like, would to mess with him more from a mental state from.
Yeah, but they don't know about that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't matter which face you choose at that point. I think what Palpatine says after all said and done is exactly what it is. Yoda's too powerful. You might get further with Yoda if it was actually Sifo, but I think up to this point, having gone through what he's gone through on Dagobah and on the Force planet, he's too powerful to be tricked by a vision.
Yeah, he just like Hereth said, he just went through the stages of grief. Like he just did it.
Yeah.
You're about like a day and a half too late, my guy.
And when Palpatine says you're too powerful, you're too powerful.
I just love how Palpatine's like, okay, Yoda's too powerful. Let's extend this by like 6 more months.
We can't break him.
But again, like they go into this really cool force vision. Yoda like fades, and he's in a LTT gunship with Anakin Skywalker and the 501st. And Anakin's like, "Hey, so we picked up this intermission from Dooku. He's going to meet up with Sidious." And I love how I know it's a vision. I know Sidious and Dooku are trying to like fuck with Yoda and like get him in his mental headspace, but it's like you would think, like, obviously with Revenge of the Sith and like everything, that they would send more Jedi, but no, let's just send Anakin and the 501st because nothing's gonna go wrong with Anakin here.
Bro, it's Anakin. It's fine.
He's such great. He's totally not gonna follow the dark side. Anyway, so they arrive, they gun down. Rex is like, "Hey, there's two people there," and they start like fighting, and you get like really cool foreshadowing to Revenge of the Sith. You get Anakin slicing Dooku's head off, and Yoda's like, "What the hell?" You get this really cool force battle that also foreshadows Revenge of the Sith when they're fighting in the Senate. And again, you get this really cool moment of like when they're fighting, and Yoda, like Palpatine throws Anakin, and Yoda catches him, and Palpatine's like, "You're just gonna let him, like, you should let him die. That would be the smart choice." And Yoda's like, "No, I'm gonna overpower you by like my will of the Force." And like he's like holding him, and he's getting shocked to death, and he like safely puts him down.
Mhm.
They start fighting more, and like they fall, and like his cloak just disappears, and like even though he's face to face with him, you think you would see his face a little bit more, but that happens. The vision breaks, and then like Pep says, you get the scene of like, "Oh my god, Yoda's too powerful. We gotta extend this shit." So I gotta ask you guys this final question: is Palpatine's hubris the fact that he always thinks that those around him are able to be broken? Because like he's always planning and manipulating shit, and like, "Oh, I'm like the all powerful being. Look at them. I play with this. I can make an entire war."
So I don't think he thinks that, primarily because he just said that he can't break Yoda. But I think what Palpatine's hubris is that he tries to.
Mhm.
Right? He tries with Luke, and then when he realizes he can't, he's just like, "All right, whatever." But then at that point, Vader had already turned. So yeah, I mean, Palpatine has plans upon plans, contingencies upon contingencies, but you know, his hubris is always going to be that, you know, his quest for immortality, and he's always going to try to turn someone to get that body for him, and that's his downfall. I also think that this part of the episode is like the best example of Yoda's power to let go, because he's about to behead Count Dooku, and Yoda's like, "No," and then he does it, and then Yoda's like, "All right, whatever," and then starts running.
Yeah. He's also like, "Okay, gotta keep my eyes on the prize. Fuck that situation. We're gonna deal with that later. I gotta go get Sidious."
Also, I got a headcanon, like, after Revenge of the Sith, because the Siege of Mandalore, I imagine. So Obi-Wan gets into the Jedi Council, and they're having their meeting, and Obi-Wan's like, "So, Anakin killed Count Dooku." Yoda's like, "Wait a minute, that's very similar. How did he kill him?" "Oh, he beheaded him."
Huh.
Wait a minute.
That TikTok
Weird.
audio. Wait a damn minute.
He's like, "I've heard this before." Anyway, I'm just not gonna acknowledge that.
So this is the time I'm gonna tell the council I had a vision a while back. Now I'm gonna tell you.
Don't get mad. Get mad.
Yeah, don't get Kit Fisto. I just want you to know you put up a good fight. However,
Yoda right now, everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
He looks at Agincola and he's like, "R.I.P. bud."
And Kit Fisto.
And Mace Windu is like, "You in particular."
What? You
Oh,
were missing a
I would choose not to be by electricity one day.
Mate, I'm gonna need you to back parachute. Just
Yeah.
try this one.
Yeah, trust me, you're gonna want it. Cody, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think Element put it best. You know, Palpatine. I think to him, it's like it's the House of Cards. Like he's always gonna try to have a backup plan. Sorry, that comment got me. But he's always gonna have a plan. I think it's less about thinking that he controls everything, but it's he can adapt to almost everything around him. And to him, I think that hubris is just like, you know, it's just a rock on the road. I'll just go the other path and I'll get around it eventually. I always do. And I think that's where that hubris really lies, in my opinion.
Wait, I was like, wait, where'd Xcore go?
Yeah, sorry about that.
He pulled the Yoda and he just shit.
He's selfish into the future, and he's like, I gotta confront these problems.
Xcore,
Yes.
your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mostly agree with that. But like, so to Palpatine, everybody's a tool. Like, you are to be used by him in some way. And if he can't figure out how to manipulate you and use you, he's going to then try to get rid of you. The problem is he runs into people like Yoda or Luke who just go, nah, fuck you. Like, Yoda's like, you're not going to bend me to your will. Okay, you beat me in the Force battle in the Senate. I'm a dip. Bye. And he's like, bide my time. I can too.
Well,
he's just like, yeah, you two can play at this game.
Well, he also runs into that with non-force sensitives. Padme.
Yeah.
Clovis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Clovis.
Well, I mean, Clovis.
Fives.
Well, hold on. So, Padme, to an extent, I feel like towards the end of the Clone Wars, he couldn't manipulate her one-on-one in a stance because she has that. I don't know how to explain it. But, like, she is one of the biggest threats that is not a Jedi to Palpatine.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, he was able to manipulate her back in the day when she was the queen. But now she's grown and she's learned some things. It's almost like she can call him on his bullshit, but she never does.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I know it's not canon, but in the Revenge of the Sith deleted scene, Padme does call him on his bullshit, and Palpatine's like, "Well, see, Anakin, she's a problem.
Yeah,
You can't really trust her."
Yeah, pretty much.
Anakin's like, "Oh, that's weird."
Yeah, but sorry, Xcore, go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, so like I said, you're either he's someone free to use, and yeah, it is with non-force sensitives. I mean, the entire separatist coalition.
Yep.
And like, if he can't use you, he gets rid of you, and then as soon as you've outlived your usefulness, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, he's literally just sitting there toying with Vader the entire time they're working together. He's just like, well, maybe what if he did this? And Vader's constantly looking for a way out, and he thinks the only way out is through the top because he's come this far.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that's his whole shtick. Like, he's just constantly like, he's fucking with, he's gonna use you. Like, I mean,
yeah, pretty much that's his MO.
This moment is why he tried to run in the office.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. That is true.
He tried to pull a Mazamita, and you're like,
dude, I love that. I love when somebody voices over Masamita being like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
I just want to have somewhere to be.
I just love how he nonchalantly just walks out like nothing's fucking happening. Like, oh, there's 2 Imperial guards on the ground? Oh, how ironic. I'm getting the fuck out of this.
I'm not getting between these two.
Oh my god.
But that is going to be it for this arc. Char, you know what time it is.
Oh, wait, there was more.
Wait.
What?
I do wanted to call attention to what I consider to be Yoda's grand master plan.
Okay.
Oh god.
That resulted in the rise of Skywalker.
Okay, go ahead.
So at the very end of the episode, he's talking to Obi-Wan and Mace, and he says, "Open to us a path remains that unknown to the Sith is. Through this path, victory we may yet find. Not victory in the Clone Wars, but victory for all time." And this, after he just learned about persisting after death. So now, his entire plan shifts to just basically letting go. That's his eternal lesson. Let go, and become one with the Force. And then it goes to A New Hope. Strike me down, and I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Then, with the ultimate what is it? Execution of the plan. Leia's teaching Rey, "Be with me." Everyone that has become one with the Force, one with the living Force, is now a beacon for Rey to tap into. And so when she taps into this with "Be with me," this is what Yoda's been planning this entire time. We're all more powerful than you can possibly imagine when we become one with the Force. This is the path to victory for all time in his mind. Of course it's not like for eternity, but he's being hyperbolic at this point. But that moment with "Be with me," with all of the Jedi, it's not that all the Jedi are there. It's just they are part of the Force she's using. And that was the grand plan that he came up with after his training.
That's wild. And the other thing, before he leaves Moorband, we hear Vader's breathing, which I caught for the first time in a long time. That I forgot that happens, and then the crying of the kids.
Yeah, you
as
you
well.
crying
Yeah.
the kids. You also hear
Crying
the
the kids.
X-wing and TIE fighters fighting each other.
Yeah.
And you hear the siren that rings in the background when Vader and Luke are leaving the Death Star
Yes.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one I hear and I'm like, and when he says "another Skywalker," and I hear that and I'm like, oh god, that's wow, just amazing.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's incredible. That Hereth, when you go to make like videos, like snippets for TikTok and other social media, use that clip.
Oh, I will.
Use that.
I was already thinking that.
That's perfect. Because then we can deal with the sequel haters.
And also,
Like, bitch,
Get
this is
shit
also-
on.
This is also another fun fact that's not part of my facts, but so Kevin Kiner did the score for Rebels too.
Yep.
And at the very end of the last episode, you can hear the end credits, the music for the end credits. That's the music that is used during the Ahsoka Vader fight, where half of his mask is taken off.
I picked up on that as well during this viewing.
Yeah. That's also what I said. I was like, wait, hold on, that's Ahsoka's theme.
Yeah. After everybody else mentioned it, I'll remember.
Hey, Xcore. You know what's funny? See you later, bud.
We're dark cheering because he doesn't have to deal with the boiling water jug. Ha! I brought it back.
Oh my god.
It is
Rid me, you
unavoidable. It
cannot
is
be
my
that easily.
destiny.
Char, 3 interesting facts.
Yeah, and speaking of facts, okay, well, let's dive into my segment, which is the 3 interesting facts about the Clone Wars arc. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 38, the Yoda Arc edition. Fact 1, a subtle John Williams score. As Yoda walks through the ruined Jedi Temple hallway in the 2nd episode of the arc, an echo of the Battle of the Heroes theme from episode 3 can be heard. Fact 2, a KOTOR reference. Count Dooku discusses an encounter with the Torrent attack on Kashyyyk. Torrent attacks were fearsome creatures first introduced into Star Wars lore in the 2003 game Knights of the Old Republic. Fact 3, the original plan for Darth Bane. George Lucas created Darth Bane during the development of the backstory for Episode 1, though the episode is the first time he has appeared on the screen. An earlier incarnation of Bane appeared in the comics and novels of the expanded universe, and this one nearly appeared as an apparition on Mortis in Season 3. The cutting of that sequence allowed for the character to undergo a redesign to define his canonical look, as well as allow the production to cast Mark Hamill as the voice of the legendary Sith. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about the Yoda arc.
All right,
and that's the end of
everybody.
Season 6.
End of Season 6. Time to rank this arc. Y'all know the drill. We have now 9 Grandmaster arcs. Which, if this goes into Grandmaster, which we should have had last week's episode, should have just been this whole damn thing.
I technically still view it as a one-off. I don't care if this.
I think it should have been. I think we should have done these 4 episodes all together, because it fits well together, and I didn't think about that until just recently. But Pep, what's the
It's a
ranking?
Grandmaster.
All right. No explanation needed. Cody.
Jedi Master.
Ooh, not Grandmaster.
Nothing beats Kit Fisto shirtless. Proceed.
Oh my god.
Xcore.
Grandmaster. Just
Gotcha.
I mean, you can't beat expounding upon the Force Ghost lore
like
No.
that we
yeah,
knew
like,
nothing about.
like
You
this
know what I
this
mean?
this is like my favorite arc of this entire show.
I will say one thing I really love was this. I love the weird, like, well, I guess it's Star Wars. It's all weird, like the Sith ritual. You know,
Oh yeah.
a blade to take a drop of blood. I'm like, that type of stuff is so. I like when Star Wars does that.
We need more of that stuff in
Yeah.
Acolyte. Like,
we're gonna get that.
We have to get more of that.
I'm still convinced that we're gonna see like the what is it called, Project Blackwing. Like, I think we're gonna see zombies like in Acolyte.
Oh,
but I'll get into
like,
that.
like
in a-
Red Harvest.
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
think that we're gonna see that, and I think you get a cameo from Plagueis, like it's trying to how to cheat
Oh,
death.
shit.
They're gonna-
Oh my god, I've got like I'm like
Plagueis
the Charlie
would be
Day meme.
awesome.
I've got a map behind me.
Death
Yeah.
Troopers by Joe Schreiber's coming
Yeah.
canon. All right.
Yeah. Oh god, I wish.
There's so much in dark side lore and Sith lore that we get in the books that is for sure going to be in Acolyte. Like if you read Dark Legends, and there's a story about Darth Noctis and immortality. Like, again, you get all this Sith alchemy and magic that they do and the rituals and stuff like that. And then you read about Darth Kaldoth and the mind cage with the Night Sisters. There's so much.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get all of it in Acolyte.
Probably. Hereth.
Look, I gotta ask you a simple question. This relates to my ranking. What is Alanis' rank that she gave herself for the Jedi Order earlier in the episode?
Grandmaster.
That's exactly what I'm ranking it. Grandmaster, baby.
Char.
Well, my ranking of this arc is, well, just like Yoda, he's the GM of the Jedi Council, which is not General Manager. It's Grand Master.
And I am also going to give it a Grandmaster. So we've had 10 arcs of a 7-season show be Grandmaster Chef's Kiss.
So
And
far.
So far. Well, I mean,
We got one more season to go.
We've got 3 more episodes of Pod Ones talking Clone Wars. But
we're in the end game now.
Yeah, we are in the end game now.
Yeah, you won't be having Godfrey much longer. So
nope.
Enjoy all your crumbs. You may just get
enjoy it while it lasts, people. But that is going to be it. Let's start with Xcore. Where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
I am on social media. I am on TikTok, Twitter, everywhere else as Xcoregamerskillz. You can find me when we come back. We will be back at Conspiracy Cantina on YouTube. Like I said, I have to actually have a schedule I can rely on before that happens. But it is going to happen. We haven't given up on it. It's just, life is what it do, baby.
But Cody?
Yeah, you can find me at Chattentime on Instagram, the TikTok, and in 10 days, our sweet return to Twitch. So,
heck yeah.
Find me there.
Let's go. Element?
YouTube.com/Diet in the Force every Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Which reminds me, you guys need to give me your podcast graphics so that I don't have to keep on showing Fulcrum transmissions.
Yeah,
I will. I mean,
can we just keep the bit
there's no
going
problem
with that?
there.
Can we just keep going the bit with that one? I think it's funny at this point.
We'll drag it out as much as possible.
They're gonna beat the dead horse until it's actually dead,
and then we'll give
I
it yours.
I already approached DePaul, but Xcore, if you have any thoughts on Conspiracy Cantina's promo graphic for Diet and I'm displaying everything so that everybody can just see where everyone is and their
I have stuff. I gotta fire up the old computer and take all my files off of it because that's where everything is.
Yep,
for sure. And so Chris in the chat as well. Get me your graphic. I know you don't have one because I don't have it.
But where can
So-
people follow you?
TikTok and Twitter at _element7_ and on Instagram extra_ at the very end.
Awesome. Hereth?
You can find me Hereth Productions on TikTok, Hereth Productions on Instagram, Hereth_edits on Twitter, and you can find me here on Pod Ones.
Char
Look,
Char
you
J.
have to say the
Where
thing.
can the good people follow you on the social medias?
Good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, as spelled right here, and you can find me here every Thursday at the Pod Ones podcast as we cover our Clone Wars rewatch. Next week we'll be covering the Bad Batch arc of season 7, which is, the Anaxis, and we get to meet the Bad Batch for the first time. So check that next week, and we will be going live tomorrow for our Kenobi rewatch on Stream Lounge. So if you want to go there and watch with us, we will be covering episode 4.
Part 4 with Boricua Wookie, Camilla, and Haley. Corellia Coffee Works will be joining us. Death Watch Podcast will be sponsoring that episode. So come hang out if you want to win some of their merch from their store. So yeah. You can find us at the Pod Ones Podcast on TikTok, the Pod Ones Pod on Instagram, and
I knew that was coming back at the end. I knew Luke's ability to comments would come through.
And the Pod Ones Pod on Instagram and Pod Ones Podcast on Twitter. That is it for Light and for Life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the kitchen be with you.
Yum num for life.
Always.
Always.
See you guys.